back to another Realtor Spotlight. This week is Lisa Burkhart. Lisa, it's good to have you.
Thanks for inviting me.
I did invite you.
I know.
This has been going on for a couple months now.
I know.
And you finally said yes.
I did.
You're good. What changed?
Not really sure. Just maybe more confidence.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Great Bend, Kansas.
Great Bend. B-E-N or B-E-N-D?
B-E-N-D,
So there's a
Kansas.
bend.
Yeah,
Okay.
Great Bend, Kansas.
All right.
Lived there for 20-some years. Well, I'm in my 20s, basically.
So you were born in Kansas?
Born in Kansas.
Okay.
And then went to college
Where?
there, Fort Hays State. Well, I went to junior college first in our hometown, Barton County Community College.
Barton
County
Okay.
Community College. Then
What
went
did-
to Fort Hays.
Why'd you go to junior college? Why?
Just easier. It was in hometown. I worked in Great Bend.
What'd you do?
I worked at a grocery store. So I've been working since I've been 15.
What was the grocery store name?
It's called Don's Food Mart.
Don. Is he still around?
No.
Okay.
No. But it was like just
he
in
from
our
Great Bend?
community. Yep, from Great Bend. It was
Okay.
a small grocery store, been there forever. But I worked there through high school and then after high school. And then worked for Carrie's, my husband's mom,
Okay.
at a daycare center, and then went to college as
Okay.
I was working there. So.
Did the grocery store, did they take the groceries to the car for it?
Yeah, it was very full service.
Right. That's how
Back
mine
in the
was
day.
too.
I mean, we even had those old cash registers that you had to punch the button
okay.
and then you hit it
Sure.
and then it rang up. So
Sure.
that's how long ago it
Yeah,
was.
that's, okay.
So
Yeah,
long
ours was
time.
like that too. Yeah, I remember. So you're at Great Bend, and you went 2 years JUCO, and then you went to Fort Hays,
Yep.
and then you graduated?
I did not graduate,
Okay.
which was terrible. I should
Yeah.
have, but I worked for the Buckle and when I was going to school there, and then had the opportunity.
So there's a Buckle in Great Bend?
No, in Hayes. Well, there is one in Great Bend too, but I worked at the one in Hayes
So
as I was
it's a
going to
bigger
college.
place than, it's a bigger place than, say, Tuttle.
Fort Hays or
Great
Great
Bend.
Bend. When I went to school in Great Bend, we were a 6A.
That's a pretty,
School.
that means it's
Yeah.
one of the bigger cities.
But it was oil field, so we had a lot of oil field, and then when a lot of oil field went south, it went to 5A, so it's smaller.
How did
Community.
your family get to Great Bend in the first place?
My dad,
He was from there?
he worked there. No, he was from Arkansas.
Okay.
My mom was from there.
Okay.
But they worked there, so he did a lot of trucking, a lot of oil field, and that's how we got there. So him, his brothers, a lot of his family was there too. So
You got a job at the Buckle
yeah,
in Great
not
Bend?
in Great Bend,
In Hayes.
in Hayes.
And then you got a promotion to Norman?
No, well, sort of. I went from. I traveled in the summertime, which absolutely loved it, fell in love with it, and then had the opportunity to manage. So I managed, my first store was Bartlesville, Oklahoma.
Okay.
So
And
it's my
was there a
first
mall
store.
there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Is it still open?
I don't know if the mall's still open. I know the store's not there anymore. But
Not the Buckle's not there.
right. But
You
I
know
don't
there
even
hasn't
know
been
if
a
the
mall built since 1983?
I know.
Ever,
Everything's
anywhere.
shifting. Everything's
Yeah.
shifting for sure.
Yeah.
So, but that was my first store, and then I was there for about a year, and then had the opportunity to take Norman and manage Norman. So when I took over Norman, it was like one of the lowest stores in the company, and took over, and I worked for them for about 20 years,
Okay.
a long time.
You sold some Ed Hardy?
Yeah,
And some Affliction?
yeah.
And some bling
Back
jeans?
in the day. Back in
That's
the day.
what the Buckle was to me.
Actually, when I started working for the Buckle,
was all
we
bling.
had Big Bell.
Yes.
No, it wasn't all
Or
bling.
Revolution or...
No, Big Bell Levi's.
Okay. Oh,
Like,
with,
remember the
yeah.
big...
Red tag, orange tag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how far back
That's
I go,
funny.
way back when.
Yeah. There's something cool about working. I worked at a clothing store
Oh.
when I was 16, Anyway, it was local place back in Illinois.
I
but
loved it.
I did
I mean,
too.
either you love retail or you hate it.
Yeah.
And I absolutely, I loved everything about it.
I did too. I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the something about clothes was always, because you're somebody's always happy to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Make them look good.
Yep.
They feel good about it.
Yep. Learned a ton from the buckle. Learned how to manage people, how to talk to people. And I actually took all of that and just put it back into my parenting skills. So, I mean, it was a great company.
Sure.
Spent a lot of time with them, but.
Were you responsible for the financials and all that stuff?
No.
As far as did you have any knowledge of what kind of revenue you were doing?
Yes.
So you
we
got paid off that probably
Yeah.
some sort.
We got paid a percentage off what our store did at the end of the year.
Okay.
So that was a big bonus for us.
Sure.
So, but I was very goal-minded, and so I made sure that I knew what I needed to do to hit my goals.
That's good. What was
So-
difficult about running that?
It was perfectly fine at the beginning years, and then we had children, and then I traveled. So I had stores in Dallas, Fort Worth that I helped oversee. Had stores in Louisiana, had stores Oklahoma City, and so I would travel so much. So I'd fly out on Monday, fly back on Friday, work at my store on Saturday.
Okay.
And then Mackenzie, my
What was
oldest,
your job title? What was?
area manager.
Okay. So,
So-
you had, how many stores do you have?
Oh man,
You were the big deal.
No, I wasn't.
You come into town and it was a big
No.
deal. Yeah.
No, it was not a
You
big deal.
intimidated people.
No, I did not.
You were-
I was super sweet, but I helped people really help manage and helped so that they could, run their own stores without somebody else. But they were young. A lot of times they were
Right.
young, but it was good.
What did a store manager make at the Buckle?
Well, it depends upon your volume of store, but
okay.
I mean, you could make anywhere, I don't know, 30s, 40s, 50s, 100,000 plus,
okay.
depending on your store volume
Right.
and how well you managed.
Right.
So, but it played a big role for sure.
Interesting.
Yep. But it got tough when Mackenzie was in competitive sports, and so I got one weekend off a month. So I'd have to pick like one place or whatever tournament that we were going to go see for
What
me
was
to
she
be
playing?
able to go. She played competitive soccer.
Okay.
And so then I was like, I'm not sure this makes the most sense to me. Like, I loved it. I loved everything about it, but the flexibility was not there.
Right.
But I didn't want to give up my family time. I didn't want to give up the memories and things that we had. I wanted to be able to go with them
Right.
to experience it. So
Yeah. And how old are they now?
Mackenzie's 29, Bryce is 26, and then Allie is 23.
Okay.
So
Anyone married?
nobody's married.
No kids?
No kids. No grandbabies for Lisa.
And they all live in Norman?
All live in Norman, probably about a mile and a half from the house.
They don't. Any of them live together?
No.
They all
Well, let me back up. Allie moved back home,
Okay.
so
And she's the youngest?
she's the youngest.
23.
23. Yep.
Right. She done with school?
No. So when Carrie passed away, they said, he wanted her to go back and finish because she started in 2020, which wasn't the best. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I can't do online school.
Right.
And so it gave her the opportunity to be able to come back home and be with me,
Right.
which is good.
Yeah.
And then she's heading back to school. So
Which is at OU? She go to OU?
No, she's going to OCCC.
Okay.
So she wants to be an occupational therapy assistant. So, but
Medical something.
yeah, medical.
Okay.
So it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
So
So when did you get your license, your real estate license?
got my license in 2019.
Okay.
So this will be my 4th year.
Right. Good, bad?
No,
Feel-
I love it.
Right.
I love it. It's it gives me the flexibility that I want. I get to meet great people. Love getting out there, knowing people, and then basically helping me business wise
Right.
or whatever. But I do love it.
Right.
So
What don't you like about it?
actually, I don't think there's really much that I don't like about it.
Right.
So
Do you feel like you're as successful as you want to be? Mm-hmm. You do? You're good?
yeah, what I do love about it is basically however hard whatever work you put into
Right.
it is what you get out of it.
Yeah.
So I kind of much determine my success, which I love that part.
Yeah.
So kind of same with the buckle. I mean, however I trained or however hard I worked or how well I interviewed, then that was my success there too. So
But you still got paid at the Buckle.
yeah,
You don't always get paid at real estate.
no,
Yeah.
but I get paid enough. I mean, I can buy shoes, bags, whatever.
We've noticed. Yeah. Yeah. So you've had a
it's
interesting
okay.
year. Yeah.
A very interesting, very challenging,
Yeah.
but has helped me realize that I'm a stronger person than I thought I could be. For sure.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
What
So
are you
good.
stronger at? What are some of those things that have
I
become
think I've always been a strong, independent person, but I think when Carrie was alive, I didn't have to be.
right?
So I kind of depended on him for a lot of things like financials or spreadsheets. I'm terrible at spreadsheets. I'm just like, let's just go do it. And he's like, just a second. We got to put it in the computer first.
Great.
Yeah.
That's
So
really
it's
great.
been, but yeah, it's been good for me to learn those things that I wouldn't have to.
You would have
this
never
year.
learned.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Could
Some of those
I?
things, yeah.
Yes.
You didn't need to learn it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's-
I can
you
do
did,
it.
and
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. You know,
Yeah.
we've kind of watched this whole thing happen to you, and you know, it's interesting when you go through a death like that. You know, when I was a sophomore in high school, my oldest brother died in a car wreck, in small town. And what was interesting about the whole thing to me was not the grief that I went through, not the grief that my parents. That's a whole different topic. But the most interesting thing I found was how people got weird around us. They don't know what to say. They don't, some of my closest friends never ever said a word to me about it. I was with them every day of my life, growing up in a little town, and these people that were in, it was weird to me. It was just, and I wanted to talk about it. I needed to talk about it.
Yeah.
And so it taught me that I need to always be available for people that are going through that kind of thing. So it was like, I need to be aware of, some people will like see you and go the other way. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm
Yeah.
talking about me. I remember like seeing people in the hallways in high school, and I'd be like, and then they would take off the other way.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't do this. This wasn't me that did this. Don't leave me out on this, because I need you to a degree, So that's I learned so much about people through that process.
I think sometimes you really learn about your friend base
Yeah.
and who's really there. And I mean, I had so many people that are there and reaching out. I mean, my assistants league friends, my workout friends. I mean, everybody has all been so good.
Sure.
And sometimes they don't know what to say,
Sure.
but just the fact that they are there, or let's do coffee, or
Right.
somebody that I could even call and be like, hey, no, do you want to do dinner tonight? Because I don't want to be myself. And somebody's always willing to
Sure.
do something. So I think that's been good.
Well, that's good for you to realize that you need that too.
Yeah.
Family
structure, we've always been a very close family, but sometimes the kids are more protective now. So it's like, hey, where are you? Like, you've been gone for an hour and a half. And I'm like,
they're asking you that?
yeah. The kids are more protective. Like,
That's sweet.
They call me every day, sometimes 2 times a day. The girls always called a lot, but
Yeah.
Bryce is even more protective now, I think. But
Yeah. That's interesting
good.
because I remember having those same feelings of my parents at that time too, when they're grieving a loss of a son. So, it was easy for me to not grieve and worry about her grief. I remember worrying about my mom a lot, thinking, I don't think she can handle another thing. So I always worried, where was she? What's she doing?
yeah.
I think it was just normal for us to.
Yeah. At the beginning, the kids were like not putting Life 360, but we had to put our locations, like, so they could find you or whatever. And they're like, hey, you've been at Pub W for a long time. I'm like, okay. And like, okay, can I?
That's sweet, though.
Yeah, it is sweet.
It's not like they think you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, it's just funny that it's
Yeah.
like, you've been hanging out there a long time. Okay, grown.
Yeah, but it's sweet though. I think that's good. That,
It is
it'd be
funny.
better than them not giving a crap.
Yep.
At all.
Yeah.
So
That is true.
anyway, but I think I admire the way that you've handled it. I think your vulnerability of this whole deal. I think you're open about where you're at. I think people around you know if you're struggling. People around you know
Mm-hmm.
if things are good. From time to time, I can see that you're like over there. You're not
Yeah.
quite here, and I think that's completely normal.
Yeah. And I try hard to be very conscious, but sometimes it's on my shoulders.
Sure.
Sometimes it's just there, but it's okay. I'm learning to, don't even want to say strong, because sometimes I don't like it when people are like, "Oh, you're so strong,"
Sure.
and I'm like, oh, I would rather have my husband back than be strong.
Right,
You
right.
know, but yeah, it's okay. So
Well, it's not okay.
yeah,
You're just figuring it out.
I am figuring.
You're figuring it out, and that's
It's been
good. Yeah. Yeah.
Not good, but good.
Sure.
Yeah.
You've made the most of it. How
Yeah,
about that? I
absolutely.
I would say that that's the case.
Absolutely.
So anyway, real estate. I guess we could get back to talking
I
about
know, right?
that. Yeah. So you made a change at one point in your real estate
I
career.
did.
And what made you decide to get to that point where you were wanting to make a change?
I started with Meraki, and I loved it. I felt like I learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But
What'd you learn? What?
how to do processes, how to get out there basically and market yourself. But once after I started doing really well on my own, again, it goes back to when you get that sheet of paper and it says, this is how much you've done and this is how much you're giving away. And
Right.
I'm like, oh, I had to make a business decision
Right.
and decided just to
Right.
move on.
Right. Has your business done as well, better? About the same?
It was better there, but I did have a really good investor that year
Right.
that bought a lot. The coming to Whittington, I think I learned more about how to market myself as far as like on the computer, what to do. I think more confidence. I know I run a lot of past you too,
Right.
but it's been good. When I worked, I didn't have to work really. Does that make sense? Like I didn't have to really bust it.
Sure.
My money when Carrie was alive was just fun money,
Sure.
basically. And so then last year I didn't do a whole lot because he was so sick.
Right.
But then this year it's coming back around. I'm starting to get really ramped up again. So
Right.
that'll be good.
That's good. Flipping houses?
Yes,
That's
that's
good.
another part of business that we are adventuring into, which has been. I always think, what would Carrie do or what would he say? Because he was my financial guy,
Right.
basically. But I think he'll be proud of what we've done for sure.
Yeah.
And flipping a house, and then worked mostly with listing. But now I do have have buyers that have come to me and like, okay, we're ready to buy a house. So
Yeah.
yeah, mostly referral base. But it's been good.
That's good. Those are good people to work with
Yeah.
usually. You like those people
Yeah.
generally. What's something about you we don't know?
Oh gosh, what's something about me? A long time ago, people didn't know that I married my high school sweetheart. So Carrie and I
We all
were
knew
together
that.
that's an old thing
We knew that,
now.
yeah.
You knew that already.
Give us something different.
Gosh, I know. Couldn't say I love to shop. I love shoes. You already know that.
Were you in high school? Were you in athletics? What'd you play?
I was a cheerleader, and then
That's
I
an
ran.
that's athletic. Okay.
Of course it is.
Okay.
But I ran cross country and track.
Okay. All right.
So did
Long
well.
distances.
In track, I ran the 400.
Okay. That's
And
one
then-
time around, right?
It's one time
Okay.
around.
But cross
So-
country, there was no 400.
Right. It was on the golf course running. So it was good.
And there's a
loved
golf
it.
course in Great Bend.
Yeah.
Is it a good course? I feel like it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good course.
Very green. Yeah.
I don't know. Don't
Well,
golf.
I mean, I
haven't
just
been
think
there.
Kansas seems to be really
it's been
green.
like 40 years since.
Since you lived there?
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to call her high school.
What year
there.
did you graduate?
In 83.
So you got your
Don't tell
40-year
secrets.
reunion.
Yeah.
Are you going?
Yeah.
When is
Of
it?
course. In September.
Mine is too.
Yeah.
September 30th, 29th and
September.
30th.
I think ours is the 22nd. We'll have to compare notes.
Yeah.
So.
I've gone to the 10th, the 20th, the 30th. The 10th was like just a college party. It felt like
Yeah,
everybody was the
same.
same. And the 20th was depressing. I felt like, it was shrunk from like, I think my class had 240, and the first reunion, there was about 60, 70 people there maybe, and it was fun. The 20-year, it cut in half, and it was like, it was sad. I remember a couple of people, they just never figured it out. They just couldn't figure out where to go, what to do, where their place was. 30 was okay. We'll figure out 40. 40, I think, will be fun.
I think so too.
Yeah.
40 will be fun.
Yeah.
Most everybody that I went to high school with didn't stay in town because it's small.
Right.
But I still have family there.
Okay.
But most of my friends all moved out.
What family's still there?
My sister lives in Great Bend, and
Okay.
then my brother-in-law.
Older or younger sister?
My sister is younger by 3 years. So
Okay.
I'm a younger sister. I'm the oldest, and then I have a sister that's 3 years, and then my brother James lives in Plano,
Okay.
and we are 6 years apart. And then I have a baby brother. He's in his almost 50, but
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yep.
Well, that's
And he
good.
lives in Hayes with my mom. My mom,
Okay.
not with my mom, but my mom lives in Hayes also.
Your dad's not alive.
No,
Mom's doing well.
mom's still doing well.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yep.
Well, that's
Yeah,
great.
pretty good.
This was good.
I know. It was
All right.
good.
It was good to have you.
Thank you.
All right.